Hello, Days of Our Lives fans. This is for Wednesday, March 25th. Please like, subscribe, and share. So, Sophia stops over to Tate's to tell him everything seems good about Chanele and Johnny adopting the baby, and he confides in her that he ratted Dougie out, and he had made a promise to Holly not to tell anybody about what Dougie did. But of course, here he, being the little prick he is, went and told Sophia and Julie. And she said, well, if you just explain to her why you did it. And he said, no. If she finds out I did this, she's never going to speak to me again. She's going to hate me because I promised her that I wouldn't. So they're having their nice little conversation. Meanwhile, Miss Choi comes over, Amy Choi, which I'm starting to like her quite a bit. And she comes in and she tells them, I'm sorry to tell you, the adoption is a no-go. And we'll go, because that article on the meras that Leo was wanting to publish, it came out today, and she saw it. Maggie goes to visit Julie. She takes some lemon bars. Julie's like, I don't feel like eating. And she said, well, I'm sure Doug will swallow them up. He loves them. And she's like, Doug's not here. And then she tells her that she kicked him out, and she tells her why. And she also tells her that Tate is the one that told her. What do you think about that? And Maggie's like, well, I'm going to have to talk to Holly. I wonder how much she knows about this. So we'll see how that goes. And here's little Dougie. He slept in the park on a bench. Paulina leaves a little sack of some sweet bits by him. She thinks he's just a poor homeless person. And come to find out, it's stormed and everything, and he's sleeping on a park bench. Oh, I hate Tate. Did I say that already? So he got a text from Holly. He was asleep. He slept through a thunderstorm on a bench. And she was texting him, asking him how it went with Julie. He's seen the text, and he just called her. So there's the text. Because Holly's, worried about him. He ends up calling her back and telling her no, she didn't understand. And that she ended up, and she's like, well, it seems like she would have forgave you for telling her. And he's like, I'm not the one that told her. I don't know who told her. But, she tells him to come over to her house when she finds out he was sleeping in the storm and he's soaking wet. And she tells him to strip down, give her his clothes, and get in the shower. Meanwhile, Maggie's back, and she asks Holly point blank, what do you know about this business with Doug? And she proceeds to explain it to her, and that's when Maggie lays it on her. Oh, Melinda Trask didn't tell Julie, Tate did. We'll see how Holly reacts to that. So Chanele and Paulina are excited. They're meeting with Amy Choi. She's going to tell them for sure if they get the baby or not. And she was meeting with them, and she told them she doesn't see any reason why they couldn't get the baby. They're going to give the baby to Chanele and Johnny. But while she's sitting there and opening her tablet to ask them a few more questions, she sees the Demera article, and she says there's no way we can do it. And here's poor little Chanele crying. It really was sad. Meanwhile, EJ is up at the apartment, wherever they live, and he's knocking on the door. He knows Johnny's there at Paulina's house. And he's like, I know you're in there, Johnny. I seen your car parked outside. Open up, let me talk to you. I've got to talk to you. So he opens the door and lets him in, or opens the door, and Johnny's like, I don't want to see you. I don't want nothing to do with you. And he's like, I want you to come home, Johnny. I want you to come home. And he's like, home? That big, he called it something. He said, it's not my home. And he says, well, you'll inherit it once I'm gone. He's like, I don't want it. And he says, okay, well, just let me tell you 2 or 3 things. And he tried to explain to him about, what a wonderful woman Sammy was, and that he loved her, and it wasn't as crass as it sounds. And his mother found it in him to forgive him. And he said, I hope that someday you will too. And after he finished, Johnny told him to leave, that he was dead to him. He wanted nothing to do with him. He wasn't coming home. He didn't want him popping up. He doesn't want to talk to him. He wants nothing to do with him. Chad gets home and he sees the article that Leo wrote, and he's just furious. He's cussing Leo. And then in walks, who else? Paulina. And she is beside herself. And she's telling her how, EJ and all his lies and crimes has ruined Chanele and Johnny. It just ruined their lives. And She tells him about the adoption is off now thanks to you. And he is just heartbroken. And he's like, tell me what to do. I'll do anything. And she said, I'm just here to warn you that anybody messes with my baby, I'm coming after you, EJ Demera. I'm coming after you. And that's a wrap.